One two one two one two. What's going on? It's your boy Jason Mass. Jason Mass playing music. About to go ahead and get off into another review of Public Image Limited Metal Box 1979. Um, yeah, one of the all-time great releases from the post-punk era. Definitely one of the best post-punk albums. There's like this one, Talking Heads, Fear of Music, or Talking Heads, Remain in Light, Joy Division, Unknown Pleasures. This album is like right in line with those great records of the post-punk era. Yeah, let's see. The star of the show musically was Jah Wobble's bass line. Jah Wobble's bass playing. It's everything musically was centered around that. Jah Wobble was a guy who was very influenced by mainly by dub reggae and by some funk, but his bass playing is it's something to something to hear. And one of the all time great bass guitarists, Jah Wobble, and for as great as he was, he's closely followed by the late great Keith Levine on lead guitar. Um, One of post punk music's all time great guitar guitar heroes is Keith Levine. Um, his sound and guitar texture and tone totally is the total his that DNA of his is in the Edge from U2, his guitar playing. The Edge totally is a direct descendant of the guitar playing of Keith Levine. And what I'm about to say next is probably going to be a little controversial, but it's just my opinion. John Lydon was almost an afterthought, when you talk about Public Image Limited in terms of the actual mechanics of the music. What John Lydon bought was the infamy and the notoriety of coming out of the Sex Pistols, you know, and he bought, the public image, so to speak, but really not a whole hell of a lot else musically. He was mainly just a vocalist, and you know, the music was there. All John Lydon had to do was come on top of the music. And, I don't mean to totally discount him, like that, but it's just my opinion. So, yeah, let's get off into it track by track. Uh, First song, Albatross, 10 minutes plus of Keith Levine just going nuts on guitar, you know. Great track, great opening track, 9 out of 10. Um, this shows why Keith Levine is one of post punk's greatest guitarists. Yeah, 9 out of 10. And the next track, Memories, is a 10 out of 10. And this one song right here, it totally anticipates the dance punk, post punk movement resurgence of the early 2000s. Bands like uh, The Rapture and LCD Sound System, Franz Ferdinand, it's like that whole ilk of bands like that. This was the track that totally birthed all that stuff. So yeah, great classic track, 10 out of 10. Then we go to Swan Lake, which was a 9 out of 10. Then we go into Pop Tones, which was also a 9 out of 10. And it has this downward circular sounding kind of bass line that just repeats over and over again. Just great track. And if you ever get a chance, look up Public Image Limited playing live on American Bandstand, playing Pop Tones live on American Bandstand. It's the funniest shit in the world. Please look that up. But yeah, great track. Next track is Careering, 9 out of 10. Excuse me, 10 out of 10. It's not a 9 out of 10. 10 out of 10 for the song Careering. And there's a militaristic kind of urgency, within the rhythm section of this song. It's just song just drives, and you just have to move when you hear that joint right there. Careering, 10 out of 10, another perfect track. One of my all-time favorite PIL tracks. Next track's called No Birds, 9 out of 10. Graveyard was a 9 out of 10. And so was The Suit, all 9 out of 10 tracks. Then we go into the last third of the record. And this is the strongest third of the record to me. We go to Bad Baby, 10 out of 10. Uh, cool synth parts played by Keith Levine. And this track is it's all like just four on the floor, just dance groove, just got just this cool ass bottom and all bass line, just dope track. 10 out of 10. Next one is Socialist, which was another 10 out of 10. You hear all these weird kind of synth quirks going on. Totally anticipates the new wave that's going to be coming up, a few months later, year later, going into the 1980s. This sounds like the beginning of the 80s, a few months early. On the track The Socialist, 10 out of 10. The next track is called Chant, which is a 9 out of 10. The drum sounds, like repetition and violence. Those are the words that come to mind when I think about the drums. The snare drum on Chant, another great track, 9 out of 10. Then we go to the final track, which is Radio 4. That was a 9 out of 10. It's a kind of uncharacteristically ambient way to end this kind of record. The synth sounds, come across kind of like a Clockwork Orange, something on the Clockwork Orange soundtrack. Real interesting way to end the record. Great, slight ambient kind of thing going on that track, which you wouldn't have really thought John Lydon would have been associated with anything like that. But yeah, so yeah, Public Image Limited, Metal Box, a 9.3 out of 10. Great record. This is their best record, So yeah, after this, Jah Wobble, he left the band, and then Keith Levine more or less took center stage for the next couple of records, I think, and yeah. But they never did anything as good as this. They had some good stuff, but nothing that matched this level. So yeah, Public Image Limited, Metal Box, 9.3 out of 10. Jason Mass playing music. More to come. Stay tuned. Later.